No, it was tough for me to prepare this week because I so stupid, Robert. You
What
would
happened?
no, I met this chick right
Oh,
at my work at the gas
uh-huh.
station, and she wanted me to help her move. Like she was desperate. I guess she had no friends or
Okay.
something, and she wanted me to like come over and help her move. So I thought we could knock it out in one night, but I've been with her like the past 3 nights, and last night was the 31st, so she had to be out of there. And
Oh,
then she had to go to work. She had a night shift, so she just left me there to just finish it off and throw everything in my car and take it to her house. I know it was kind of ridiculous, but she was hot. You know what I mean? So,
okay. Well, at least there's that.
but yeah, there's been a lot of wrestling, and I wanted to prepare, but again, we don't have clips to watch, so we're just gonna have to do it from memory. But that's okay. This is the Malapert Smark Wrestling Podcast. Welcome, whoever is watching in India or wherever you may be watching from. I saw some of our viewers are in India because you could tell, like on YouTube, they give you like a breakdown of where your viewers are from.
Interesting.
So, yeah, I mean, I guess there's Satnam Singh and Sanjay Dutt fans out there,
Well,
but
I'll be sure to give praise to Mustafa Ali.
I don't know if he's Indian.
Or,
I'm not sure where Mustafa Ali's
or
from.
well, because we are gonna talk about Night of Champions, right? He was part of it.
Yeah, but I don't know if he's not Indian. I think
Okay.
he's some kind of Arabian, but he's not
Okay.
Indian.
All right.
Anyways,
Never mind.
uh, I'm Kayhan. Vlad is on the show today. Hey Vlad, good to have you on. Honestly, I was a little nervous if you were not gonna come on. I know you got some family issues going on, but you know, I don't know what I'd do without you on the show.
I think you'd be fine, man. You and Robert would not get out of the park. You'd be fine. You talk the same. You just cover the shows. I'm sure it'll be fine. Honestly, I'm fairly sure.
Well, no, I mean I used to listen to Howard Stern a lot as a kid, or not as a kid, but in my 20s, I guess, when he moved to Sirius and he started cursing and everything. I thought it was cool. I guess it might have been an influence for me to podcast or whatever this is. It's kind of like a radio show, you know. But he always had Robin with him, that black lady. I don't know if you remember, but he one time she couldn't show up because she was sick, and he was just like a chicken with his head cut off. Like he couldn't do the show. Like he needed her. I need you, Vlad. You're my guy. You're the star of the show.
So I'm the black lady Robin in this scenario. Gotcha. I've always found her to be quite annoying, honestly. But to be honest,
Oh,
so I don't know. I don't know. She was always kind of to me a hindrance to the entertainment part of the show. She would just like I don't know. Maybe she's a
No,
nice person.
she was there to
okay.
level him out. Like she needed to be there because she would keep him in line, and she was a good foil for him because she would just kind of let him go and just give him like a little bit of something, and he'll go with it. You know what I mean? He needed her there. But you're the star of this show, man. You've always been the star of my show when we did the sports break and the basketball show. You're the
Oh
wrestling
boy.
expert. You're the Jim
Uh,
Cornette here. All right, Robert. Robert's on the show too. Thank you for coming on.
Of course.
Miss you guys. Haven't seen you guys since last week, but let's get going. Let's talk some wrestling. We're the Malapert Smarks. We're disrespectful. We're gonna judge these shows, but honestly, I thought it was I'm not gonna be as disrespectful as I usually am because I had a good weekend. Like I enjoyed the shows. You know.
Same here. Well,
Um,
I didn't watch Dynamite, so there's that. So
no, but the two pay-per-views over the weekend.
yeah,
Well,
okay. That I watched the two pay-per-views. Yeah.
there was actually three pay-per-views. I didn't finish NXT Battleground yet. I'm still watching it. But
Yeah.
the two main pay-per-views, I know Vlad's.
that doesn't count as an actual pay per view that anybody would wants to watch. But nonetheless, yes.
Hey, in some ways NXT is better than Dynamite. At least they're prepared, professionally. But let's get down to the main issues here. We're gonna roll through two pay-per-views real quick, and let me see if I got my timer here. Yeah, we're gonna use our old timer because we have a lot of matches to get through, talk about. So we'll start at Night of Champions was on Saturday. What day was that? Saturday, the 28th of May. Okay. So it started out with the World Heavyweight title match. AJ Styles and Seth Rollins set up, from that World title tournament they had, and it was a good match. Of course, these are two fantastic freaking workers, professional as fuck. I don't know if you don't have to use the whole minute on these things, on these issues, but I'm just putting a minute just so we don't really talk too much about any one particular thing. But Vlad, what do you think of this match? AJ Styles and Seth Rollins.
These are two of the better workers, probably in the business today. I hate Rollins' character. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's annoying. It's obnoxious. Yeah. That crazy laugh is psychotic. AJ is good, but he's been pretty, he was kind of brought into this kind of thing kind of weird because he was off for a while and he really wasn't doing much the last couple of years, honestly. But, like I said, at the end of the day, this is a secondary title. I mean, I actually care about this. Yeah, it was a good match, but these guys are expected to have good matches. They were two of the better workers in the business, but I wasn't excited about this. I wasn't thrilled with it. It was good. It was a good match, and that's pretty much all that. But as far as the angle and the story, who cares, man? Really, the secondary title, I can't get excited for it.
How about you, Robert? Come on, you dug this match.
Yeah. So I thought this was a great way to start off the pay-per-view. Yeah, I mean, I do agree that this is like a secondary title. But I that wasn't really in my mind when I was watching it. I was just enjoying the match as it was. And, well, you guys already know how I feel about AJ Styles. I put him on my top 5. So I'm a bigger fan of AJ Styles, but I thought I would have been okay with either one of them winning. I think, Seth being closer to his prime currently, it makes sense that it did go to him, the title. But yeah, I enjoyed the match, and I thought it was a great way to start off Night of Champions.
Well, I agree with Vlad in a way that when I saw Seth Rollins coming in with that goofy-ass robe.
Oh my God. Yeah, I hated that.
I was like, oh my God, this is the guy they're going to put over AJ Styles. Come on. For a minute, I was thinking, they should let AJ win. I mean, he's coming down the end of his career. You're right, Vlad. They did just throw him into this, but it was on reputation. Everyone knows he's the best. And he was just there to do the job and make him look good.
Exactly.
And again, yes, World Heavyweight title. I can't get too excited about it. It's going to go down as the worst angle of the year. When we review this whole year at the end of the year, this is going to go down as the worst storyline. The fact that they even made this title it's such a disaster. But I love seeing AJ Styles. I thought it was a good match, and there was that one moment, right? Good thing I didn't forget. Let me see. I think I have it on here. I call it the selling out the business moment of the week. I got at least one clip for us to watch. Robert, watch this. The referee saw that he was supposed to count, but he saw Seth Rollins' shoulders not on the mat, and then he puts it on the mat for him. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? This guy's gotta get fired. He's like gonna count. He's like, oh no, your shoulder's not down. He puts it down for him.
That was pretty hilarious. I remember seeing that too.
Anyways, it is what it is. Let's move on. Next topic is Trish versus Becky. Robert, we'll start with you.
Oh yeah, well, I thought we all know how good Becky Lynch is, but Trish, that was a surprise. I think I didn't expect her to do that well, at least her performance wise. She looks like she's performing better now, or at least in that particular match against Becky, than she did in the mid 2000s. personally. I thought she was awesome. Um, I mean, let's see if she can keep up, that quality. But that's a good showing on Trish's part. The whole angle with what's her name at the end?
Zoe Stark.
Yeah, that was a little random, but okay, whatever. I enjoyed the match, so we'll see where it goes from here. But props to Trish. I mean, I already knew what to expect from Becky, but very good on Trish for that match.
Vlad, I know you're a big Trish fan when we were kids.
Yeah, but not for match qualities, if you know what I mean. But listen, what I'll say
What
is
else could
this.
it be?
Well, listen, I'll say a couple things. I was really I had to go over and rewatch this match because when I was watching it live, I didn't realize it wasn't giving it the focus that it needed because this was early morning on a Saturday. Uh, but rewatching it, I was actually quite impressed with Trisha's heel work. I mean, she really did great work in the ring. She was great facials, great stuff that she was doing throughout the match. Kind of, I don't know. I was really impressed with Trish, because like you said, Becky we knew was a good worker. She's been known to be a good worker. She came through the NXT system, so that was already known and expected. But Trish really did a good job in this match, and it was a pretty hard hitting match. I would have to say, like as far as like the quote unquote grudge matches go, I thought it was quite hard hitting as far as WWE style goes, which is known to be a little bit softer. Anyways, yes, impressive work by Trish.
I'm gonna be the third guy. I texted both of you, and I said, "Frick, Jesus, Trish is great." I mean, and Robert, maybe it's because she just didn't have anyone to work with back in the day, But now that there's all kinds of good female workers, she can just slip right in there, and she's as good as anybody. And I told you guys, I think Trish should main event WrestleMania. I think she's that
So, all
freaking
right,
good.
I want to put the brakes on that. Hold on. I'm not necessarily disagreeing, but I just feel like this one match is kind of too small of a sample size. Maybe Becky really like helped to make her look that good. I want to see her against other opponents and see if she could maintain this level before I agree with your opinion, that she's ready for a WrestleMania main event match.
Well, there's only a few people who could be a WrestleMania main event match: Becky, Charlotte, Rhea Ripley. Um, I don't think they can do Ronda Rousey anymore. I think people see through that now. But it's just one of those four. So I think she could work with Charlotte. But I don't know. It would be hard to come up with an angle. But I think Trish deserves a WrestleMania main event based on how popular she was in her life and how, they want women to be. Oh, she could do one with Bianca. I forgot. Bianca is another girl
Yeah.
who could. Sasha Banks is not around anymore. That would be a hot matchup though. Um, but that's just my opinion. Becky, or not Becky, Trish for a WrestleMania main event. You heard it here first. I'm Malapert Smarks. I love Trish. She's so good, man. She was so good in this
I think
match.
we all love Trish.
She was so good, but she was really good, like as a worker. As a worker, her work was freaking good, and she looks fantastic still. Put her in the main event. All right, next up was Mustafa Ali and Gunther, and they had a big babyface little video package for Mustafa Ali to start right before this, showing him go to Mecca and everything, and putting him over for the Muslims in Saudi Arabia, which I thought was a pretty nice touch. I thought that was good. But I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on this. I know it wasn't one of the main matches on this card or anything. Vlad, do you think this was good?
I mean, it was. If the only reason they had is because they were in Saudi Arabia is they put Mustafa Ali versus Gunther. Gunther obviously was going to win the match. There was no drama here. It was a solid match. Nothing crazy. Nothing amazing. It was just solid. Again, hard to get excited for it because it was just a thrown together match that only for this specific pay per view. And Mustafa Ali has been pretty much a joke the last what? I mean, well, actually, he's always been a joke since I've been watching. So I've never seen him actually do anything good. So, or actually be successful, or actually win matches. So this was like specifically for this pay per view, which is kind of. I don't know about that type of booking, but it is what it was, and you know, that's it. I'll leave it at that.
Robert, you have any thoughts on this, or did this kind of fly by you?
No, it didn't fly by me. I mean, it wasn't a match that I was really necessarily looking forward to, but having seen it, it was decent. I didn't hate it. I thought it was decent. But yeah, like, going reviewing the card overall, this wasn't like a highlight for me, and it wasn't something I was really necessarily looking forward to. But it was decent.
Well, I'll say that I think they've been working on putting Mustafa Ali on the show, like they've been forcing him in, and he's like a fantastic worker. So WWE, as opposed to AEW, it looks like they want all professional guys. Like that, to them, it's more important to have professionals in the ring who can work than really, guys with character, or the angles and all that are kind of secondary. They had all this list of matches was all guys who could work, and I would put Mustafa Ali in that list of guys who are such great workers. This puppy is bothering me, not letting me work. Hey, puppy, eat your puppy babies. But I like the match. I think it was solid work for Mustafa Ali, and he fit in with everybody else who was very professional. And of course, he had to put Gunther over. I mean, the baby faces. He was very babyface in Saudi Arabia, which worked really well. And so I'll say it was a plus. I got nothing bad to say about this match. All right, puppy, leave us alone. We're trying to do a podcast here. Special guest appearance. Bianca and Asuka was ended with, I guess she spit on her own hand and rubbed it all over Bianca's eyes. Robert, what'd you think of this match?
So if you guys remember, during WrestleMania weekend, oh, actually, Vlad wasn't there on day two. I mean, not in Kaon's place. I actually picked Asuka to win that match against Bianca, and well, I was wrong, obviously. So I made that pick a couple of pay-per-views too early, but it finally
Yeah,
happened. I don't know. The match was
interesting title change.
yeah, the match itself was good. I didn't expect this time. I didn't expect Asuka to win, but she won anyway. So it's like the exact opposite of what happened in WrestleMania. But yeah, it wasn't bad. I
Of course, it was good
probably
work.
yeah, probably the WrestleMania match was a little bit better, but this wasn't bad. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, yeah. Vlad, how about you?
Good match. Bianca is easily one of the best wrestlers, actually, probably in the world. I mean, her matches are consistently solid. I didn't think this was like as good as obviously the match she had with what's her name? Oh my God, in Puerto Rico. I'm
Io
sorry,
Sky.
that was one of the best matches I've seen in a long time. It's not women or men.
Yeah,
Uh,
awesome.
but this was a good match, and I thought it was a kind of a creative ending. I don't know, I'm not familiar with my Great Muta history or Tajiri history. People that use the mist, is that something that they have done in the past, where they kind of use the mist to put it on their hand and win that way? I don't know,
That was a
but
first for me.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was kind of cool. That was a cool. I thought a little creative ending. I'm just gonna talk about the ending. The work was solid. I don't think it was anything great, but I mean, it was good, but nothing like amazing when we're talking about like performances of of this caliber of these type of wrestlers. So it was good, but I like the ending. The ending was kind of creative, and I think it's time for a new champion. So I was fine with that type of booking as well.
Yeah, I was also a first for me for the mist on the hands and rubbing it into someone's eyes or whatever. Um, so I thought that was interesting booking the way they ended the match. But yeah, obviously it was solid. Bianca is freaking great, and but let's move along. Natalya and Rhea was a quick match. Natalya got distracted by Dominic. The bell rang, but she's still like not even paying attention to uh, Rhea, and she just got destroyed and demolished. Um, any thoughts on the booking here, Robert?
It was essentially a squash. I mean, I didn't expect it to be that competitive, but I didn't expect a squash either. So, um, I don't know. This is one of the low lights of the card for me.
Did you want to see a real full match between Rhea Ripley and Natalya?
I didn't want to see a squash, but I don't know. I wanted to see a little bit more than that.
Well, Vlad, what about you?
Yeah, I kind of agree with Robert a bit. They could have given it a little bit more. Just since we're Smarks, I'm wondering if somebody went like over on their match and they had to cut this one short, or what happened here? Like, were they pressed for time? They had to just
I
cut
don't
this
think
one.
so.
If the plan was to just have her beat like that, like at least give her like a couple 5 good minutes or something. I mean, what's the point of a squash? I mean, I understand that they're trying to get Rhea over pretty well, but she's already over. Isn't like she's over. You might as well get a good match and not completely. Like a, I know it's whatever. It's not really a pay-per-view anymore on WWE. It's like whatever. Like it's a premium live event as they call it. They might as well, I don't know, give her at least 5, 7 good minutes and then beat her pretty, convincingly instead of just like 1 minute. That's my only complaint about that.
I do want to add one more thing though. I definitely want that shirt that Dominic was wearing. She's my mommy. I'll wear it. I don't care.
I don't know if I could wear that, dude. People who don't know what we watch are gonna be like, "What the fuck is that?"
Creative shirt, I will say that it's hilarious. It's pretty hilarious.
Well, it's a play off of "I'm Your Poppy" with Eddie Guerrero. But I mean, I guess you're right. I mean, listening to you guys, I mean, maybe Natalya is not the person to do a squash with. Like I wouldn't mind a squash, but maybe Natalya's like kind of, she's second generation and everything. Maybe
you can work her and you could get a good match. I mean, even if you're going to beat her, which obviously you're going to beat her, but might as well.
Yeah, if they wanted to do a
little
squash,
bit more competitive.
they could have done it with someone else. I guess you're right, but
there's plenty of choices.
But overall, on the card, it was nice. Sometimes it's nice to see a fast match. Sometimes when there's a bunch of freaking long ass matches on a card like this. But anyways, next we had Cody and Brock. Cody was selling that broken arm. Selling a broken arm. It's broken. but he had a big cast on his arm. Vlad, you got any thoughts on this match? Did Cody pull this off or what?
Yeah, first let me just say that I thought the work was great. Both guys, the psychology, everything was. It was. I wouldn't say it's perfect, but almost perfect. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I thought it was great.
You believe that a guy could go out there with a broken arm like that and fight Brock Lesnar?
And this is where my only problem. When he's being put in these type of moves where these Kimuras and whatnot, and he's with a broken arm, it seems. I'm not going to say. Yeah, I'm going to say it's pretty damn impossible for him not to submit right away if he has a broken arm. Okay, I don't see how it's any way around it. Like he's fighting through the pain. I mean, he already has a broken arm, so like he should have tapped in like 3 seconds. So that's my only. Where I lost a little bit of like, okay, well, I can't really buy into this as much. I mean, I know they've had matches where people try to work injuries, but when they say it's broken, that's a serious injury. That means you have a broken bone in your body, and you can't just go out there and compete like you would regular. They just still had a regular match. I mean, at the end of the day, Brock won, but I lost a little bit of believability because of the broken arm part and him not submitting to when he put him in all these submission holds on his arm.
What about you, Robert? Did they pull that off, or was it funky?
I have to. I don't have too much to add from what Vlad already said. Like it kind of takes away the realism of that. There's no way you don't submit. Well, if you get locked into a Kimura like within a few seconds, even with a healthy like not uninjured arm, it hurts too much. You're gonna have to tap out like real quick. Now, if it's already broken, like come on now. We're going to Orange Cassidy territory here, man. Like what?
Well, they're trying to put Cody over here, I guess, for his eventual title win if it ever happens, but trying to make him look pretty like amazingly strong and brave. But I I mean I was just weirded out like what did he passed out from the pain, I guess. It was too
Yeah,
painful.
when he passed out, I'm like, that doesn't really make sense. Like, I would think the pain would keep him awake. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Weird.
guess you could pass out from pain. I mean,
True.
if it's that extreme, but okay. It's 1-1 now, and they're gonna continue their feud. It's just one match in the feud.
They should continue their feud because it's been going well. I just had a problem with the believability of the broken arm part of it. The work was fine, nothing wrong with the angle. I think it's actually been one of the best currently going in WWE, but it's just okay. He has a broken arm. I mean, what the hell? He's fighting Brock Lesnar. I mean, I don't know. Okay, that's it. That's my only complaint.
All right, all right. Last match of the night was the tag team title match for the undisputed tag team SmackDown and Raw titles. Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa, the challengers against Sami and KO, longtime frenemies. And finally, everything blew up in Roman's face. All the mistreatment of his relatives of Jimmy Uso recently. Although he's done the same thing to Jay. They had a big long feud early on in Roman's title reign. He beat the crap out of Jay and made him respect him, I guess, and acknowledge him as the head of the table. But good match here. But the ending is what we need to talk about. Finally, they broke up, and Jimmy Uso was the one who turned on turned on Roman. So Jimmy Uso kicked Roman, and Jay was like, "What the hell?" What the because he's already been through it, right? He knows what Roman can do to them. But this was fun. I know you guys like Robert. Yeah, you had a good time with this match, right? This was what made the pay-per-view.
Yeah, I would say so, yeah. Now let me talk about the angle first. So, the whole bloodline angle, I really, really loved it. I thought it was like the best storyline in wrestling for a long time. But then I think after WrestleMania, I kind of lost interest in it. It just didn't hold my attention anymore. But then after what happened in Night of Champions, I'm kind of curious as to see where they go from here, like
Yeah,
because Jay looks really conflicted. He sold that pretty well.
yeah,
Yeah, and obviously the match was good. So overall, this was a great way to end the pay-per-view.
Vlad. This made the pay-per-view, right? This made the pay-per-view worth watching.
The ending specifically, yeah, the Usos coming out, them kicking Solo by accident, and then like Roman like again berating them, telling them that they're useless to get out of his ring, and finally
The pie
Jimmy
face.
can't.
Pie
Yeah,
face.
pie face.
It's hard to take a pie face and not do something about that. That's a tough one.
He snapped and he super kicked him, and then he super kicked him again for good measure. And yeah, it was fun. It was good to see because, like you said, the Bloodline has been such a big story for the past basically couple of years, and the best thing going. But I kind of agree with Robert. It's cooled off, and I even said post WrestleMania WWE has been really hard to watch. I remember us discussing that. But yeah, this kind of brought some more intrigue into it, and I liked it. It was a very kind of dramatic and good ending to the show.
Well, I mean, it was a lot more of the same when WrestleMania ended, and they just continued the storyline. That's why it was a little funky. But this was hot. Like, I didn't know how long they were going to drag this out. I thought they were just going to keep dragging it out. I was not expecting that. I was not expecting it to happen there. I was not expecting it to happen at Night of Champions or Saudi Arabia. But the fact that it did happen fires up this storyline again to me. I'm excited to see how it plays out with the Usos and Roman now. I'm curious. I think a lot of the SmackDowns were kind of just a little bit of too much of the same from before WrestleMania. But it happened all at once and it blew up in their face and it was fantastic. This made the pay-per-view. The rest of it was just solid work, all professionalism. I guess that's what we're going to talk about now. Overall, what you thought of the show. And I thought I thought it was a really solid show. I think everyone on the card was really solid, and they had the angle at the end that
Mhm.
the storyline angle, which is what we like, in wrestling, the drama. And I'm gonna give the show a pretty good grade. But I'll get it from you guys first. Uh, Vlad, what did you think? What did you give the show?
Between a B and a B minus. The minus just because, like I said, yeah, the work was good, but like, I don't know. I didn't have this great excitement for any of these matches. Like, when you go into pay-per-view, you want to see hot angles, and then the blow off being the pay-per-view. There's not a lot of that going on today in wrestling, so it's hard to say like, okay, yeah, the work was good, but all right, but okay, if you gun to my head, all right, I'll give it a B. I'll give it a B. Fine.
That's a pretty good grade. What about you, Robert?
I'll give it a B plus.
Interesting.
Now, if the Rhea Natalya match was a little bit more competitive, because that was a downer for me personally, I'd probably give it an A minus. But other than that, I think all around this was a really solid show. But yeah, my grade would be B plus.
Um, I was fluctuating between B plus and B, unlike Vlad, who was fluctuating between B minus and B. But I'm gonna give it a B. But I think that's a good grade. I think that's a good grade. Yeah, I think that's overall. I enjoyed the show very much. I liked it in the morning. I think some people were thrown off by that it was on a Saturday morning. But I liked it. I liked waking up and having live WWE to watch. It was fun. Um, I like these Saudi Arabia shows. I mean, sometimes they're kind of weird, but sometimes they put a lot of work into it and give some good surprises. So I like this one. I'm gonna give it an up. Good job. Good job, everybody.
Yeah.
From the harshest critics, from the harshest wrestling critics on the internet, not bad. Good job. Not an A, but not bad.
Yeah, if we're giving it a B plus, then it must have been pretty
Yeah,
good.
I mean, it's solid. I mean, in this modern age of wrestling and how slow things progress, it was as much as you can ask for, I think. But
And also, I think I haven't didn't mention this. And this kind of goes against my critique of the Rhea Natalia match being a little too short for me. I like how this pay-per-view didn't feel like it was too long. The length of it was just right. Like I didn't feel like it was too short, and it wasn't too long either. And that's despite my critique that the Rhea Natalia match felt too short.
all right, let's move on to the hot stuff because WWE are usually pretty consistent, but AEW is where the fun begins. Where this is where we can really be Malapert Smarks and talk some shit because there's a lot to talk about here. So this is what was the date on this? Just for completeness sake, Sunday, May 28th, 2023. AEW Double or Nothing. It starts off with the international title battle royal. It's a battle royal with a title on the line, not a title shot. The title. And Orange Cassidy, the man, is in there with the likes of Keith Lee, Ricky Starks, Jay White, Brian Cage, Swerve Strickland. All these guys he has to overcome, and he does. Vlad, you want to give your hot take on Orange Cassidy? Still the AEW International Champion
Hold on, I'm
after.
practicing meditation right now. Okay, what is? Oh, Orange Cassidy's still the champion. Look, I don't know, guys. I'm,
Well, he was
as a
in there with
sports fan,
Swerve Strickland at the end, 1-on-1, and that was a pretty went over him, pretty clean. That's a strong character to go over.
But we weren't
you're
gonna get
joking,
that
right?
swerve. We weren't gonna get that swerve though.
Swerve is Swerve has been portrayed as a strong character, I think.
Hmm.
No, I don't agree with that. The guy is filled with only being on Rampage, so how could he be a strong character? But anyways, what I think, I don't know. Who cares? I mean, he won.
Oh, like Orange Cassidy. Who cares?
Meh, whatever. Hands in pockets. I won. Great. I'm the champion. Okay, look, like I said, I don't. This was, yeah. I mean, I knew, and we knew he was gonna win too. So like, whatever. That's it. I got nothing else. I'm sorry. I don't have anything like analysis of this. There's nothing to analyze.
I mean, I didn't know for sure that he was gonna win, but Robert. I mean, come on, I enjoyed this. Robert, what about you?
Oh, hold on. Just a reminder. We remember we met the night before, and I told you, number one, that I thought MJF was gonna win the main event. But if there was one match where the only one match where I would actually be willing to make a bet on would be the Orange Cassidy one, and I was willing to bet that he would win because that was like to me that was like a sure thing. There's no way he's gonna lose. So there was no doubt in my mind. The match was just whatever. I didn't hate it, but I didn't particularly enjoy it either, and the outcome was just too predictable to me. That's pretty much it.
Well, I mean, I thought it was interesting that Ricky Starks was in there, but he was in there with the Bullet Club guys, so they kind of fucked him over. He eliminated both of them, and then they dragged him out of the ring and whooped him a little bit, which kind of weakened him, and then he got kicked out by Big Bill's Big Kick, who got a pretty good push for this match, and they've been using him a lot more. He's got a good look. He's all right. So the last four guys were Orange Cassidy, Swerve, Big Bill, and Penta. I'm gonna say once again, very impressive performance by Orange Cassidy. Incredible streak he's on. Good streak of matches. I like his work, and I like his work. I like his work.
We're back to this again.
I like his work when he works. You know, when he's actually doing moves and stuff, it's okay. When he's doing the hands in his pockets thing and taking like incredible damage, it gets a little sticky. But I think he does the moves pretty well, and I think it's funny that he still sells this hand injury the entire streak that he's doing this. Not only is he winning and continuing this streak, but he's had a hand injury the whole time. So let's move along. Vlad's gonna get an aneurysm here.
I'm all right. I'm all good with it.
Adam Cole and Chris Jericho. Who did I start with last time? Let's go with Vlad. Vlad, what do you think of this whole debacle? It was interesting at the beginning with Sabu coming in and taking out the whole JAS by himself, and
Sabu taking the spot. I don't know, man. I mean, it was what it was. This was like I was telling Keon, I texted you, I think, saying that this whole pay-per-view was filled with gimmick matches left and right. There was no actual singles, regular wrestling matches. I won is the one thing I'll say is that, yeah, I mean, Jericho should be putting guys over at this point, but it was kind of silly. Sabu flying over and hitting putting that guy through the table. What's his name? Daddy Mac or whatever it was. Whoever it was, one of the goons, one of the goofballs. It was what you kind of expected in the AEW type of match where there's no rules and whatnot. So it was what it was. I don't have anything positive to say about it though.
No, then Britt Baker coming in and getting some revenge on Jericho for the kendo stick. She whooped on him a little more. Saraya came out, tried to help, but she ended up getting chased off too. Robert, what do you think of this? We got some experience in the ring with Chris Jericho.
Yeah, I could have done without the whole like gimmick and Sabu's and JS involvement.
Well, they had to even the playing field somehow.
True. I would have been. I think I would have enjoyed it more if it was a straight up like one-on-one Chris Jericho versus Adam Cole. Nobody interfering and no gimmicks. But it was okay. I mean, I didn't hate it. Both Adam Cole and
What'd you
Chris
think? What'd you think
Jericho.
of the ending? Sorry to interrupt you. The ending with him getting his face smashed in UFC style, and then he stopped the fight finally.
Okay, I got a kick out of that. Yeah, sure.
I mean,
I'll
there,
give it that. I got a kick out of that. I thought Adam Cole and Chris Jericho both did well, but I could have done without like the whole gimmick and all this interference. It
I,
wasn't bad.
it was something to watch. It was a
Yeah.
spectacle. Seeing Sabu come out and go through a table, and all the chaos and Britt Baker coming in. It was excitement. I mean, like Vlad's saying, all gimmick matches in this show. Yeah, they try to do something pretty wild and different in every single match compared to WWE, where I'm looking at their match card from the pay-per-view, and it was all singles regular matches, and pretty boring until the very end when we got our angle that we were looking for. But um, yeah, I mean, I guess maybe we could have done with one normal match, one normal singles match somewhere in here. But
I think that should have been the one. Probably.
but it was such a grudge match. I mean, if if you were gonna have a regular match, maybe it could have been Wardlow and Christian instead of being a ladder match. But um, we'll get to that in a minute. Let's move on to the next match. The next match was FTR versus Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. I had so much fun with this match. This was exactly why Jeff Jarrett is my favorite wrestler. Personally, I thought it was so much fun. But Vlad, if you want to rip on this match, go ahead. Now's your chance. You want to
No,
rip?
no, I think I texted you the same thing that it was a fun match, but obviously the whole thing was so overly booked, it was insane. I mean, with Karen Jarrett running in, and then
Aubrey
Aubrey
Edwards, because she was coming in to be the replacement referee, and she wasn't gonna let her.
hysterically. But then I think she also like Karen then tripped a little bit, and I laughed even harder. It was hysterical, dude. Uh, okay, I mean, yeah, it was pretty gimmicked. The whole thing was the whole thing was kind of a little out of control. But which actually is Jeff Jarrett is known for. If you watch a lot of his TNA stuff,
Yeah,
he had a lot of all the type of run-in type of crazy nonsense. I don't like that type of stuff a lot. It's to me it's a little bit overbooked and it's a little bit messy. Overall, obviously the work in the beginning, you got four guys that can really work. It was what it was, and obviously FTR won, which is the right result. And other than that, but I did have some fun with it. I will say that I will have some fun with it for sure. Yeah.
what about you, Robert? You
I
you
can't
enjoy
really.
this match?
Well, so I don't know if I should even speak on this match personally, just because I forgot what I was doing at the time when this match came on. So I didn't really pay attention, to be honest with you.
Man,
Maybe because the angle leading up to it, like I had just no interest in it.
yeah, that's
I don't
true.
know. So
The
that's
angle
why
did suck.
I didn't really, if I really wanted to pay attention, I would have, but I didn't. So
The angle did suck, but the match was fun. You missed a fun match. I mean, to me,
uh,
this is wrestling. This is what wrestling is all about, personally. But it's what I grew up with, and it's what I like. I like the randomness and the excitement of this type of thing. Um, but the part where Jeff Jarrett got so much heat when what they thought they were gonna get the pinfall, and Mark Briscoe he said didn't count fast enough, and then he what did he do, Vlad? Did he tell he said something to him and then he hit him, right? Like the guy's brother.
Slapped him. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy's brother just died and he's treating this guy like like shit. And I was like, "Damn, that's some real heat he got, in one moment." Like suddenly he turned from being like a guy that gets go away heat to being someone who really got some real kind of real real heat. Like people really didn't like him in that moment. Even me, I was thinking like, damn, that's kind of a lot. But I thought he was funny when he finally like what did he do? He hit the stroke and he was like, yes, I did it. Like he's already celebrating. There's no referee to make the count though. I love Jeff Jarrett. I love him so much. I mean, I thought it was fun, and I'm so blessed to be able to see Jeff Jarrett still in this day and age. Personally, I had a fun time with it, but we'll move on. I know, Vlad. That's just me, though. It's just me. It's just the type of match I like, and I thought it was hilarious. And yes, the Karen Jarrett thing hitting Aubrey to me was the surprise moment of the night. Really.
Okay, well maybe I should have paid attention then.
I got a kick out of that for sure. If
Dude,
anybody deserved to be hit with a guitar, it's probably.
I was like, what? I was like, what the fuck? That was insane. Okay. We got. Oh, in the end, next there was a backstage segment where Ricky Starks is getting interviewed.
Forgot about that actually.
And he's like, he knew Bullet Club Gold was gonna come attack him. Like he was looking around the entire time he was getting interviewed. And then when Juice Robinson came in, like he actually he blocked the first shot and hit him. But then FTR came in and got the saved him because they were just walking by. So I guess they might do a FTR versus Bullet Club Gold thing, which I think could be good actually, personally. But we're gonna move on. Oh, we could get your thoughts on this, on the Jericho and Saraya backstage. Did you guys see this? You remember this one, Robert, or were you in the kitchen?
Yeah, no, I did see it.
With
so they're gonna do a tag. Well, they didn't announce the tag match that was coming up, but at that moment, I think that was announced later. But
no, well they challenged them. They challenged them to a match.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
And then they threw a tantrum, and then a guy came in and said, "Stop messing this place up!" And then he fireballed his face. Jericho fireballed this security guy's face.
I totally missed that completely.
Well,
oh my god!
Yeah, I remember that. So this is kind of intriguing for me because I haven't seen Saraya actually wrestle in a match in a while. Because she usually is just accompanying Toni Storm and Ruby Soho, and she sometimes does stuff outside of the ring, but an actual match, I haven't seen her in a while. So I'm curious to see that at least back in action in the ring.
Vlad, you didn't see this segment with the fireball and the him being a wizard on the security guy?
I must have either turned my head or I was watching it off some website, so maybe I don't know what happened, but I must have missed this specific part when he threw a fireball. But he's done it before, and it's always ridiculous. So I don't know what to make of that. But it seems like it was a more funnier moment than based on the way you're describing it.
Well, I'll describe it to you a little more to let you know how horrible it was. So they're throwing a tantrum about what happened in the match. You got beat so fair and square, considering there's no rules and it's unsanctioned. But he's pissed off. They want another match, a tag team match, and then there's a bunch of junk on the table behind him, and he just starts throwing it. I'm telling you, you got to see this. It looks like just random stuff. Why is it even there? And he starts throwing it around, and some random security guard comes, and he's like, "Hey, don't do that. You guys can't be doing that." Why not? It's just a bunch of junk and trash sitting right there. And then he throws a fireball at his face. And he goes, "I'm a wizard, bitch." So, very strange segment. But I will say, in terms of booking as a smart, I like that they set up a match for the next show, here on the pay-per-view. It's better than just throwing out a random match, I guess. Very small compliment, but it's the only compliment I could give them. But anyways, moving on, we got Christian and Wardlow, which was a very interesting match. There's a couple of spots here that were very iconic, in my opinion. First of all, Arn Anderson bit Luchasaurus' thumb off, it seemed. And also, there was a ladder spot where Wardlow set up Luchasaurus on a ladder on a table and then jumped off the ladder and completely missed him and fell on his ass real bad. And then I'll give a compliment to the ending where Christian was going to climb the ladder and win the title, but Arn Anderson pushed him off, and Wardlow caught him for a power bomb, which I thought was a cool spot. Any thoughts on this? I'll start with Robert.
I thought it was cool. I enjoyed it. Now, like, I'm used to seeing Wardlow in short matches, or if they're not, like, if they last more than a minute or two, he's basically just dominating his opponent, and then like he could have finished him off sooner, but just keeps on hurting him more until he finishes him off. So it's like either a squash or a slightly longer match where he's still completely dominating. So it's good to see him in a somewhat a competitive match, to see more of what he's capable of. It was okay. I didn't love it, but I thought it was okay. And
There's that.
Christian was great as usual.
Yes. I'm gonna mention that when it's my turn to talk. But
And
there was
I don't know if I'm remembering this correctly, but didn't one of them try to set up like a ladder that was like broken or something like that?
yes. That's what I was gonna mention.
And I'm like, wait, what the?
That's what I was gonna mention. Yes, before I send it to Vlad. There was a moment where Wardlow, first of all, he did this cool jump from the ring corner onto the ladder, and he made it, which was like, okay, that's cool, but then that broke the ladder. And then he was going to try to climb that same ladder, and then the referee was going to do that thing that AEW referees do where they hold the ladder, and they've done this before. And Jim Ross is like, dude, what are you doing? You can't hold the ladder. And then finally someone decided, like, yeah, let's get a new ladder. But Vlad, yeah, these botches, I know Christian's work was great, but did they kill this match or what?
I didn't completely kill it because you kind of expect it. Because why is this a ladder match? Like, why are you having a ladder match? Like, Wardlow does not know how to work through a ladder match, even with someone like Christian that could maybe guide him through it. You know, he needs to be able to learn how to work regular matches. We don't even know if he can do that well. So putting him in a ladder match is putting him in a pretty shitty position, to be honest with you, in my opinion, especially when it's like one-on-one. I mean, I know he was in one of those crazy Money in the Bank type things that they got going. I mean, I know they don't call it Money in the Bank here. I forgot what the hell they call it. And I think he won one of those. But this was like a one-on-one ladder match. The one thing that sticks out in this match is definitely Arn Anderson biting Luchasaurus and stuff. I thought that was hilarious. I mean, obviously, I don't think he actually bit his thumb. I don't know I'm not sure how they gimmicked that, where the blood came from. It was like something that they put on there. It was kind of like something that was in Luchasaurus's mouth or what, I don't know. But that was pretty funny. But yeah, there was a lot of bad botches here, like you mentioned. But the one where the referee helping out, and why is he trying to climb a broken ladder? It was pretty ridiculous. It kind of pretty goofy, if you don't mind me saying. But yeah, okay, Christian did good work, but whatever. It took away from it, I have to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, this whole pay-per-view was a series of spectacles, and the image of Luchasaurus like holding his thumb out, looking at his finger, and it's like half gone. Like, I'll always remember that. So at least they did something kind of funny and creative, and I think the Christian, I liked his work. I like his work, obviously. When Luchasaurus came in to be his backup, I think that worked well because obviously Christian shouldn't be able to beat Wardlow on his own, so he needed a guy to come in. So I think they did that well. And then when he missed him off his ladder spot and he completely, like, literally just fell on his ass on the floor and barely, like, swiped Luchasaurus was pretty sad. That was actually a pretty rough bump. I mean, I'll try to put an image of it in post-production on this video. But, dude, he could have really messed up his spine. Like, he fell on his ass real bad. So, again, why did they set it up like that? Like, they set it up where Luchasaurus was just on the wrong table. Like, he should have just been on the other table, and he would have been fine. But I guess they don't practice these type of things. But, other than that,
but yeah.
Going so far on this show, though, we got a lot of experience on these matches. Like Jericho and Adam Cole. Jericho was the experienced guy. Jeff Jarrett was the experienced guy in the tag match. Christian is here working with the youngster. So, on paper, this looks pretty good. So far, I'm enjoying the show here, though. Let's move along. We got Toni Storm and Jamie Hayter. I couldn't figure out why Jamie Hayter's friends, like Britt Baker, where did she go? Like Jamie got beat up before the match, right, by the Outcasts.
That's
But
right.
why the hell wasn't Britt Baker around? I kind of missed that. I don't know if you guys caught anything about that or no. She didn't really get beat up in the last match or anything. Why isn't she there to help? So I didn't really get
I don't know
this.
why.
Sheeta came in to try to at least sort of even up the odds, but it wasn't enough. So Jamie Hayter ended up losing to Toni Storm. Kind of confusing to me. I don't know. Maybe I missed something here. You guys got any comments on this match or what?
Glad you want to go first?
Oh yeah.
Sure, no problem. I think this was the match. I forgot when we were predicting. I forgot it was what either me or Kalen both said we kind of felt Toni Storm was going to win for some reason. Was that you, Kalen, or was that Robert?
Yeah, you and me picked Toni for a title change, and Robert didn't.
I just figured it was time. I mean,
Okay.
Jamie Hayter a lot, but really, there's just really not been a lot going on with the women's division. You might as well try to give it to a heel and see if she can get some good heat as being champion. So, whether she's going to be a good champion or whether that's going to work is another story because this is AEW and you really don't know what's going to happen day to day, week to week. But, I kind of liked that booking as far as just her winning, as far as the quality of the work of the match. I mean, nothing really stuck out for me. It was what it was. I mean,
I'll agree with that. Same with me. Robert, what about you? You got any thoughts on this? Or?
So I didn't mind the booking and the title change, even though I predicted it wrong. But I did not enjoy the match. I didn't think the quality was. I don't know. I feel like Jamie Hayter and Toni Storm are capable of a better match than that, and they just didn't pull it off for me. And yeah, that's about it. The booking was fine, but the match to me didn't work for me.
Yeah, it was a strange match.
Yeah.
They came out and they started with Jamie Hayter being injured from pre-match attack, and Sheeta came in, and God, if you guys could see these forearms she was throwing at Ruby Soho on the outside, looked so awful and fake. So yeah, also I just didn't think this match worked. I don't know what happened, but I'm gonna move on from it. I mean, again, I don't have a problem with Toni Storm being champion. I think that's fine. But let's move along. We got Jade Cargill against Taya Valkyrie, and Jade came out with a prepared dance. You guys saw this? Okay, I mean, a lot of botched moves. They were trying some. Jade was trying some, interesting stuff that I think was a little maybe advanced for her. She had I remember a springboard off the top rope, and I guess Taya was supposed to catch her into a knee face buster, but she instead it didn't work out. Jade just got messed up from it, but I didn't really think it was a fantastic match. Jade kicked out of the finisher, the Road to Valhalla, which is her finisher, just named differently. Kicked out, and then she ended up putting her finisher and winning the match. But I don't know if you guys have any thoughts about that, but you probably don't. There was more interesting post match, right?
I'll just add one thing. Personally, I can't think of one Jade Cargill match that I enjoyed. Honestly, I don't know. I think her as a performer, they should have given her time to grow more before putting the belt on her. That's just my personal opinion.
I mean, I like her finishing move. I think she does
Okay,
that well when she does
yeah,
that to jobbers.
that works, but like her overall ring work, I think needed some more polish.
Yeah,
I think they should have given her more time to grow before they put the belt on her. So, and like I said, I can't think of one Jade Cargill match that I liked personally. I don't want to sound like
yeah.
I'm picking on her, but I
I
just
mean, there weren't really that many. They were all a bunch of squashes, against no names and stuff. But I mean, she did take the road to Valhalla in this match. That was, she can work in a way. And then I'll just give a shout out to Taya. I think she was okay in this match. That when she took Jade's move and she sold it really well. She was like screaming like in terror when it was about to happen. I thought that was a good touch. But Vlad, if you don't have anything to say about Taya and Jade, we'll move on to the surprise match that happened after this. What do you think? Jade and should we move on to the Jade and Statlander
Well,
match?
only thing, real quick, I completely agree that Jade is very limited, and I think they were trying to give her like the Goldberg treatment. It just never really worked. It never really went anywhere here, so it's kind of pointless. It never really picked up. They were trying with her. I think that's where they were going with it, but it just was really lousily and really kind of silly at times. So
Yeah,
yeah.
well, Vlad is already kind of, you know, jumping the gun here, but her title reign does end as Chris Statlander comes out and challenges her, and Jade accepts the challenge because she's a badass. And Chris Statlander surprise return and hits her finishing move called the Sunday Night Fever, which Jade took that move well, I thought. She was tired from her match, and then that was the end. She took an L for the first time, and Tony Schiavone was tripping. He's like, oh my god, oh my god. But we pretty much covered it. I guess you guys have pretty much said that she didn't really deserve this streak and this run. It was kind of pointless. It didn't really work out. And they ended it. If they were gonna try to make this exciting, they should have tried to make it exciting then. Like when Goldberg had a streak, they're like, well, he's fucking 59-0. He's gonna fight tonight. He's going. They didn't really push her. She had the matches, but they didn't really try to put it over, really. So yeah, it didn't work out. Thank God it's over. Because every week we're just like, fuck this. This is stupid. So it's over now. But Vlad also texted me and said, alright, if they're going to put Chris Statlander over, what the fuck? She hasn't been on the show at all. They haven't set her up. They haven't given her any, it was out of nowhere, and it was the kind of the worst way to end the streak.
Hey,
I would have given it to Taya Valkyrie.
remember in last week's show, I told you that I heard the rumor
Yes,
that Statlander
you
would
called
be
it.
the-
Where did you hear this rumor, Robert?
I'm trying to
Where
remember.
are you getting your rumors from? On What Culture or something? Or
Maybe I mean I listen to them from time to time, but maybe that's where I heard it from.
what?
But I forgot. So
Betray us for What Culture?
for me it wasn't out of nowhere. Like I heard the rumors. So
Oh, okay then.
wait,
Fine. Since there was a rumor floating around, then I guess they set it up well, huh? Anyways, moving on.
Yeah, I just want to say real quick, just real quick. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to put Statlander over like that, you could definitely build it up and do that. I mean, first of all, she's like coming back. They could have had like a whole bunch of video packages. They could have set things up. I mean, she looked great. She looked great. She has a great look, and she looks to be in really good shape. I don't know. They could have done a lot more than what they did with this.
Yeah, I don't know. She wasn't really impressive to me in her run in AEW before she got injured. It's kind of surprising to me, to be honest, that she's the one they picked.
I think there's something there. I kind of see a little bit of something, but I just don't know. She has a good look.
Let's move on to the four-way, the Pillars four-way, the big match of the night, which wasn't the main event. Vlad was surprised about that. He texted me like, "What the fuck? This is not the main event." This was a good match though. I mean, well, let me start out by saying that Sami, congratulations to Sami Guevara. He's gonna have a baby. He'll be in AEW in 15 years probably, and
He'll be world champion in 15 years. Don't worry.
MJF's entrance with the row of women bowing down to him was an interesting touch. Um, but I'll go through some spots. What happened in this match? It was kind of like a 3-on-1 match at the beginning, but then it became a regular 4-way because they had to like fight each other eventually. So that didn't really become a factor like we thought it would. It wasn't a 3-on-1 match. Um, MJF, oh, he had that moment where he tried to get Sami to lay down when he took the mic, which I thought was cool. I like when this happens during a match. I forgot when's the last time that happened. Oh, with CM Punk. He took the mic against CM Punk, right, and told him to give up or something. I don't remember. But when MJF takes the mic in the middle of the match, it's all everything that's good about him. His work in the ring and his mic work. It was good. That was a good touch to let him talk. There was the 4-way submission move on the floor. I don't know if you remember that, where
I
all
remember
4 of
that.
them were like holding each other. That
Yeah.
was interesting. They had a strong style moment where they all took punches, straight to the face, and which I know Vlad is not a big fan of strong style. But what else? Oh, and then there was the ending, which was pretty creative, where Darby was going to do the coffin drop on Jungle Boy, and then MJF put the title belt on Jungle Boy. So Darby hit the belt, and then MJF swooped in and pinned him. So I thought it was a fantastic match. I'll go first, but I guess I went first. I went through all the spots that I thought were interesting and good, but I'll move to you guys. How about Robert?
Okay. Man, I don't know if I can finish in a minute, but
Hey, you can go over a minute, man.
okay,
It's
because
just
I have a lot of thoughts on this one.
okay,
So,
cool. Let's hear it.
I was looking forward to this match the most out of the entire cards, and since it was the match for the championship, this should have been the main event. I mean, come on, what was that all about? Um, so all right, I want to start off by saying like when these 4 guys are in the ring together, whether it was like the tag team match that happened in Dynamite a couple weeks ago or a fatal 4-way match, I think they have really good chemistry with each other. It's awesome to see personally. And they all had their own moments to shine throughout the match. Um, I think they all did great. I think and to me maybe Sammy Guevara was a personal highlight for me. He had a lot of really good moments in this match. Um, well, one part that I didn't really enjoy that much is when they were all like on their knees and then hitting each other, and then instead of hitting back the person that hit them, they hit the person on their right, and then,
Yeah.
and then they did it like they did it counterclockwise first, I think, and then clockwise, and I don't know, that didn't make sense to me. I'm like, why don't you just hit back the person that just hit you? That was weird for me personally, but outside of that, I thought it was great. And you mentioned the part when MJF, took the mic and asked Sammy Guevara to lay down. And there was another moment where Jungle Boy could have used the belt to hit. I forgot who he could have hit, but he could have probably
Yeah.
won the match if he
It,
used the belt. But then, like the commentators were selling the angle that was mentioned, in weeks before, where like or when he said that he wouldn't stoop to like MJF's level and stuff like that. Moments like that, and then the part where MJF had the mic, I thought were really cool. It's like because there are some payoffs to the angle that was building up to this, even though I didn't necessarily like the angle that was building up to this match, but there were at least some payoffs that happened during the match, and the finish was cool. Um, so other than that one spot when they kept like hitting each other and like clockwise, counterclockwise,
yeah. There was a
that
lot of
was like
4-way
that was,
tropes.
yeah, that was probably the only part in the match that I didn't like, and I'm surprised they all agreed to do that and thought it was a good idea. I didn't think it was a good idea. But outside of that, I really enjoyed this one.
I mean, there's got to be some tongue-in-cheek stuff. It is
Uh,
AEW. I guess. There was also a moment where they each hit the finisher move of their supposed
The mentor. Yeah.
mentors. Yeah, that was another thing they did. There was a lot of four-way things. It was a real four-way. I
Yeah.
thought that was interesting about this match. Like a lot of four-way matches kind of sometimes devolve into someone's hurt and they kind of wait on the outside and they wait for their cue to like come back in when it's their moment. But this one was like all four were involved for most of the match. I thought that was interesting to me. As in terms of four-way match, I didn't really see many like this. I've seen a lot in WWE, but Vlad, we got to hear your thoughts. You liked it, right?
It was definitely the match of the night. I mean, I have some critiques. Nothing major. I mean, I want to say nothing major. My only critique is that it was like I think there was like a little bit of there's those three guys, right? Which is Darby, Sammy, and Jungle Boy. They have their own like they have kind of similar styles. They take a lot of high spots. They do a lot of crazy moves. And MJF has to kind of work in between those type because he actually is a great wrestler, and I think those three guys want to be great wrestlers, but they're kind of known more for taking high spots. So I think MJF had to kind of work a match within that that framework basically.
Yeah, he did good though.
Yeah,
And I think he did it. I think he pulled off. He pulled off a good match with those guys, as good as you can get considering the circumstances. There's four guys. There's mayhem going on around the ring, all this stuff. And I thought the ending was pretty creative, a good way for him to win, putting the title belt as Darby was coming down. That was a nice little ending. Overall, it was definitely the match and the highlight of the night for me. It was a good match, and, my expectations that it was a four-way. I thought it was going to be like, you know, kind of a mess, pretty much. It ended up being better than I thought, and had some creative moments as well. So overall, I would say I liked it.
Yeah, it was good work for talented guys. They had the match set up and they all did what they planned to do. And good the high spots were nuts. MJF was down there catching these guys, doing that bullshit. And
Those are parts that I don't like. So those were the critiques that I wanted to mention. Like there were spots like that I didn't like, and I always like MJF's thing where he pretends like he's gonna run and do one of those spots as well, and then he doesn't, like he runs the ropes. Great heel work over there because like he knows that all that stuff is BS. Let's be honest.
you're right. It is interesting though that he goes along with this stuff. Like he seems like a guy who has a bad attitude about all this, but when it comes down to it, he'll work with it.
Work with it because he's trying to be professional, and like I said, he tried to work with the framework knowing that these guys have a specific style. All three of them have that specific style of they want to do crazy moves during the match. So he knew that it was going to be like that no matter what, so he kind of tried to within that framework try to make the best of it and try to get the best match possible out of it, and I think he did as good as you can do given the circumstances.
All right. Let's move on because it's getting late. We have the last match, Anarchy in the Arena, Blackpool Combat Club and the Elite. I'm just gonna give a couple highlights for me. The loaded boot obviously was a big hit to some people. Matt Jackson, super kick, and there was an explosion. I don't know. I guess he had a bomb in his foot or something. I don't know. And then the Blackpool Combat Club got pissed at him, took his boot off, and there were thumbtacks in the ring, and they dropped his foot first on thumbtacks, which I thought was insane. That was a fucking crazy spot. And then at the end, the big swerve of the night was that Takeshita, Konosuke Takeshita, joined the Blackpool Combat Club and joined Don Callis and everything. What do I'll start with Robert. Any thoughts you could give on this match? Did you like it?
Okay. Yeah, overall, yes. Now, I want to talk about the beginning portion of the match first. I
Uh-huh.
thought it was very, very chaotic. Right? And then what you mentioned earlier, I think when we were talking about the Chris Jericho um the Chris Jericho match where
Adam
like
Cole. Yeah.
at least they're trying something new. That's what I was thinking during the main event, at least at the beginning when they were all fighting all over the place while the band was singing Wild Things. And that song seemed to go on forever. Like does that song really go on that long? I'm not sure. That's like the longest rendition of Wild Things.
They did it in the last Anarchy in the Arena. The
Okay.
same thing.
Well, I didn't remember that, but okay.
Yeah.
Um, so
It's
I was like,
okay.
all right. I mean, the execution I think could have been better because there were many moments in the beginning where it looks like a crazy attack was about to land, but then right before it lands, the camera they switch to another camera
Yeah.
to like another pair of people fighting. Like, so I think I don't know whoever's doing the camera switch in the back, they could have
Yeah.
timed
It's a
it
lot to
better.
prepare for. A lot to
Yeah, I
prepare
know.
for.
So it felt very chaotic. Um, you know, it wasn't, at least it wasn't boring, they're trying something different.
Yeah.
But when things settled down, after the singer got super kicked, I think when it got less chaotic, it did get better. I did like it overall, not as much as the fatal four way, but it was a nice way to end the match. But I still feel like the four-way match should have been the main event.
Yeah. All right. Let's hear Vlad's hot take on this. I know you're gonna rip this apart. What do you think?
I mean, what else can you say? It was embarrassing to wrestling. I don't know how you could work, how you could look at it any different.
What did
I'm
you call
sorry.
it when you texted me? You said it was the most embarrassing thing you've ever seen,
One
or
of the most
something.
embarrassing things I've ever seen. It was embarrassing. They embarrassed themselves out there. Everybody involved is an embarrassment. Even Bryan Danielson, who I consider one of the great workers of all time, the fact that he's put his with this crowd and with this type of match is embarrassing. And he's embarrassing himself, his reputation, just being involved in this. This is amateur hour, as he would scream. These are anybody involved should be. I'm gonna go a little cornet on this. Anybody involved should be put on the wall and shot. And that's all I got to say on that. There's nothing positive about you can't keep track of these matches. You can't understand what the hell's going on through almost like two-thirds of it. Yeah, I mean the song was playing in the background. I didn't understand what the fuck was happening in this whole thing. I have to be honest. I know there was a lot of stupid stuff going on at the end too.
All right. We had some technical difficulties, meaning my Zoom froze, but we're back on the air, Vlad. We lost Robert. Robert's going to bed, but we were pretty much done with our Double or Nothing review. Vlad was in the middle of a tirade about the main event being embarrassing.
Yes,
the
yes.
the match. So I mean, look, I thought it was interesting because it was a spectacle. The whole thing was a spectacle. If you look at it that way, the show was interesting. Um, yeah, pure wrestling wise, people from the territories would think this is terrible. This is nonsense. But uh, since we're done with the show, you were done with your thoughts, right? I don't know
Yeah,
where
yeah.
you're.
No, that's
You didn't
I
like it.
I
You didn't
didn't
like
like
it.
it. I
All
didn't
right.
like it. No,
Well,
I
what
thought it was
about Double
ridiculous.
or Nothing as a whole for the show? You got a grade?
Okay, for the just specifically because I don't think there were that anything that stuck out. I think specifically for the four-way match itself, I'll give it a C plus. Yeah, because I think that match saved it. Otherwise, it would have been like somewhere in the C minus D area because otherwise it was really not very good at all. But
Man,
that match really saved the day as far as putting on a good performance. And yeah, I had some problems with it, some critiques as far as it goes, but it was still quite entertaining and quite good. So for that reason alone, I'll give it a C.
all right. Well, I'm gonna give it a B minus. I really want to give it a B, but because because of just the botches, the sheer amount of botches, and just not really super professional compared to WWE. I'll give it a B minus, but only because it was fun and entertaining in a lot of ways. Robert gave Double or Nothing a B minus, like
I see.
like me. We think the same, me and Robert.
Yeah, maybe I don't think I was too harsh. I honestly think that there's no way I could give it a B grade for one great match. I mean, you have to go through hours of wrestling to get to one good match. I can't.
Well, just for the overall feel of the show, there was some excitement to it. I thought for the era and the time, I thought it was good.
Sure, there's excitement, but there's excitement during a lot of different things that you could be. I don't know, man. I just can't agree with that. I'm sorry. There's just too bad. There's too much bad wrestling and it's too silly. I just can't go along with giving it a B.
All right, so that's that. Robert's gone. He's got work in the morning. I know, so do you. It's getting late.
Yeah.
Do you want to run through? Do you want to run through Dynamite just quickly? Like, not we don't have to go through every segment, but just certain segments, I guess.
Sure. Let's just try to get through it.
Yeah, I mean, the opening match nobody cared about. I think the Blackpool Combat Club against the Lucha Brothers and Bandito.
God.
There was a Elite segment in the back where the Dark Order are jealous of Adam Page for going back with the Elite. Yes, that seems like that's going to be a storyline. Bullet Club Gold promo in the ring. This was good, I thought. This is going to be this looks like it's headed in a good direction to fight FTR, right? I mean,
it's you know who I do like? I have to admit,
Juice Robinson.
Juice Robinson. Yeah, Juice Robinson is. I think Juice Robinson would have been a good wrestling character, not just in the territories, but during a lot of different stages in wrestling. I really like Juice Robinson. I think there's something there. I guess this is a step in the right direction. It could be as far as maybe a better feud for FTR and definitely a better feud for the Bullet Club. I mean, I don't know if it's still going to continue with Starks or not. I think there is seemingly will be some continuation, but overall I did kind of like it, and I like Juice Robinson stuck out for me in here.
All right, let's move on with the Dynamite review real quick because there was a triple threat for Trent, Big Bill, and Swerve for the next shot at Orange Cassidy, and Swerve won. Whatever. Chris Statlander video, too little, too late to push her.
That's what I'm saying. Should happen before.
Exactly.
Before, but okay.
Acclaimed and Daddy Ass cut a promo that they want a title. I guess that. Whatever.
Trios, I'm guessing is what they want, right?
Okay,
even
fine.
Though they just lost the trios title, but whatever. It didn't really make much sense.
All right, yeah. So far, not much on the show except that Bullet Club Gold promo. Well, Don Callis in the ring promo, or interviewed by Shivani. This was good. Yeah. This was probably the moment of the night, right? He got
my only thing. Okay, well, yes, he got a great heel reaction. They gave him the Dominic Mysterio reaction as he did with his speak, and it was good. But the thing is, there's still no reason or rhyme or reason. What was he saying? Like, he ruined my family. Like, what did Omega do? Like, why? We still don't know why he turned. We don't even know why he's doing this. And I don't think there really is a good reason. So that's why they just kept saying he ruined my family. You ruined my family. Like, how did he ruin your family? Can you go into any details of like why you turned on like your quote unquote wrestling family? I guess. But anyways, it was good heat, but nonetheless, it was a little weird.
Yeah, I mean, the way he turned heel, I guess. I mean, like, he's already been heel, but for some reason now he's like mega heel, because he turned on the Elite, which because him and Omega were kind of heels together, but now this was like a different type of like nuclear heat that he got with this crowd in San Diego. Which, however it came up, I thought it was a good moment. I really liked it. Like, just the fact, like, everyone in the crowd was fucking ripping him to shreds. Like, it was like it looked like a small arena crowd. Like 1,000 people like raining down on him, but it was like a whole entire big arena. And I like Takeshita. I think his little smug heel look was pretty hilarious. And I'm interested to see him as a heel fight Kenny Omega. I think this is going to be a good match.
Yeah,
I think that's
agree
not
with
bad.
that.
So far, 2 segments I thought were pretty good. And the matches are all garbage. It's even this next one. It's Darby and Orange Cassidy against the Mogul Embassy, which was whatever. In the end, it was Swerve Strickland coming out to stake his claim on Orange Cassidy, and then Sting came to save him. Return of Sting, whatever.
Right.
That wasn't that good. No.
No.
MJF pre-tape promo vignette saying he's the best still. Okay, not bad, but we didn't get to see MJF live today. And then Hook was gonna cut an in-ring promo, but La Facción Ingobernable interrupts, saying they want their moment. They haven't been given opportunities. And then Jungle Boy comes in to save him from an attack. Also, I don't know about this angle.
Yeah.
Don't care about any of them. I care about Hook, but not La Facción Ingobernable, so whatever. And then they had Chris Statlander in a match against Nyla Rose, which, again, also probably should have been done before. Her winning the title. Backwards booking, as Cornette would call it, right?
Oh, for sure.
And then the main event was Britt Baker and Adam Cole against Jericho and Saraya, which they set up at the pay-per-view. And then Britt, I mean, what's with all this woman-on-man violence? Like, why is that okay? Britt Baker.
Men can't hit women.
Well, I'm not saying that men should hit women, but I'm saying why is it that women are fucking be able to hit us? And that's totally fine.
Men, why she's allowed to slap Jericho around?
Yeah, but so she put the lockjaw on Jericho. I know.
Yeah.
But again, another Adam Cole victory, completely humiliating, and for the third time. They beat, Roderick Strong beat him, Adam Cole beat him, now they beat him in a tag team match. Can they beat him in another way too? Can you think of some other way they can beat Chris Jericho? Or can we move on from this?
Yeah, exactly. What is the point? I think that hopefully should be the end of that. That he's basically beaten him now in the mixed tag in a match, and then Roddy beat him the week before that. So yeah, that hopefully is that. I mean, they've beaten the hell out of Jericho in this feud for sure.
Well, this was a shitty show, huh? This was what?
This was pretty bad. This was a pretty bad show. This was really.
There was not much meat on this show. There was a couple of good segments, but this was like a D plus or something, right?
Yeah, I would say this was like a D. This was probably like a D show, to be honest. There was really not much to get for this. Not much to get hyped about.
All right, man. Well, we talked a lot of wrestling today. I tried to skip through it real quick with the timer, but it's still we're already at almost an hour and a half. So I should let you go to sleep, unless there's something sports-wise that you want to mention. The Heat and the Nuggets were today.
Yeah, I mean, you want me to talk about the finals real quick? Just what my
are you interested in it all? If you're not interested, you don't have to.
I'm watching it. Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know how good of a series it's going to be, but I don't have any hate for either of these teams. I don't have any I'm not really leaning one way or another, but I just think the Nuggets are going to win. I think they're the better team. They have better overall, just way more ways to score. They're a pretty decent defensive team when they need to be, and they just have a better overall offensive system. And so they know how to they have different ways to put the ball in the basket and win games. And the Heat are good, but they're not. I can't imagine them winning more than, like you said, maybe they could win one, maybe two, possibly. But Denver should win this series, and they should. That's going to be a big thing for them winning a championship.
I agree with you. They should win. I think it could be a sweep. I think it could be a sweep. Or 4-1.
Yeah, you never know. It could be a sweep for all I know. For all I know, it could be. I mean, we'll see.
But overall, dude, I gotta say, I just don't care about Denver or Miami, personally. I'm here in LA. The Lakers aren't in it. and nobody mainstream is in it really. Even the Warriors aren't in it. This is
Yeah.
lame. I don't care. Just go ahead and win your title and go be happy.
Hey,
Go party, you Denver Nuggetians or whatever you call them.
I've never heard them called Nageshians, whatever you just said, but anyways, you in a sense you're right, but like this is obviously not the sexiest matchup that the NBA could come up with, but what can you do? It is what it is.
Did you enjoy having so much wrestling over the weekend, or was it kind of a burden?
Since like you said, I have had some personal family stuff going on within the
Oh
last.
yeah, you had to force it in, huh?
No, I was gonna say that maybe in a way it kind of took my mind off some of when I was so in a sense it wasn't the worst thing in the world. Like I could
All right. Well, that's
take my
cool.
mind off it. So,
I had a
yeah.
good time with it, bro. I'm way back into wrestling now. I'm 100% full-fledged back in. I'm
Well, I'm
watching it.
trying, bro. I'm trying to be, but like they make it hard, man.
I mean,
AEW specifically
I
makes it hard.
enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I like the ideas they come up with. I mean, at least
Well,
they tried to
I
be
can't
creative.
go that far.
I
can't say that.
I
the
like
ideas
some
they
of the
come up
stuff
with.
at the pay-per-view. The stomp on thumbtacks, the biting off the guy's thumb. There was some hilarious stuff to me. So
All right. Well, I
anyway,
already said my piece on that part, especially the main event. I'm not going to go into another rant about that.
all right, Vlad. Well, have a good night then, man. Good talking to you.
All right, you too, man. Take care.
All right, dude. We'll see you next week, hopefully.
Yes. See you next week.